today we are very fortunate to have RSVP speaking, and our speaker is Janet Treeman, who's the volunteer administrator. And RSVP improves the lives of vulnerable populations in the local community by focusing on education and wellness and by supporting nonprofits through skill-based volunteer programs. And I will let Janet explain everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to her. Welcome, Janet.
Great, thank you so much. I am going to attempt to share my screen. Give me 1 minute. Okay, is that good?
Perfect.
Okay, so thank you. And as Chris said, so I have been with RSVP now for 2 years, working with their volunteer services. Before that, I was a lawyer and partner with a law firm in Center City for 15 years. And then I took some time off to finish raising my kids. And now that they're both in college and out of the house, I went back to work, and now I am serving the community through RSVP. Okay, so RSVP we are an organization that started about 50 years ago, just had our 50th anniversary, originally as a federally funded organization under AmeriCorps and Senior Corps. It started out as an organization where each community had their own RSVP. I sort of liken it a little bit to Head Start, that you would be called Head Start or receive a Head Start money, but you're not, really a federal program. And we were much the same way, would receive money from the federal government, but not officially linked to the government. But the idea was it was originally called Retired Senior Volunteer Program. And the idea was to get people 50 and over to start volunteering in their community and to keep them busy. It started off as literally stuffing envelope kind of activities. And over time, people realized people 50 years old and over don't really want to just stuff envelopes. There's a lot more that they can contribute to the world. And so we have branched out much far beyond that. So I want to ask you first, take a little volunteer quiz. So please feel free to answer the questions if you could. First question is, what percentage of Americans volunteer? We've got 16%, 23%, 30%, or 45%.
I'm going to go 23.
Okay, well, it's a little bit of a trick question. Pre-COVID, it was almost 30%. In 2021, at the height of COVID, it's fallen to 23%. It's slowly working its way up out of personal experience, but the statistics haven't yet come out. But now we think it's somewhere between 23 and 30%. And then the next is, who volunteers more, men or women? It's women, 26% women and 21% of men. And then what is the #1 cause or volunteer cause? Hunger, political organizations, animals, or youth sports?
Animals.
Yeah.
And every time people say animals, and the answer is hunger.
I thought it would be youth sports.
I thought it would be youth sports, but it's hunger, followed by health and wellness, faith activities, and then animals. And what state has the highest volunteer rate?
California.
It's Utah.
Oh, right. Part of their, yep.
Yes, I think it's because there's a lot of required volunteers in Utah, but it's Utah followed by Wyoming, Minnesota, Maine, and then Washington, D.C. Utah's at 40%. The lowest is Florida, which is not even 16%. And then is Pennsylvania higher or lower than the national average of 23%?
I'm going to go higher.
Yeah, slightly higher. It's about 26%. And it's down though its pre-COVID numbers were almost 36%. So Pennsylvania is down quite a bit. And then here is the bonus question of what is the volunteer state?
Tennessee.
And that is, yes, Tennessee. There you go. All right, so let's see. So well, as we've already said, RSVP has about 1,200 volunteers and serving populations in the local communities, being Delaware, Montgomery, Chester, and Philadelphia counties. We focus mostly on education and wellness, and we do that we have our own in-house programs, but we also support other nonprofits by providing them volunteers. Our volunteers are able to, we are able to engage them in helping them find, I liken us a little bit to Match.com. We can help you find your niche, what works best for you in terms of your scheduling, in terms of your interests. So we also offer celebration luncheons to our volunteers. We do workshops, many workshops, all the training that you need, especially like we have a lot of virtual volunteers. And so to the extent that they need help learning how to use the programs and so on, we offer all of that. RSVP also offers supplemental insurance and we pay for the background checks that might be required for whatever your volunteer position is. We also just have basic requirements. You have to be 18 years of age or older. You have to be a Pennsylvania resident. We have some out-of-state residents in some of our programs, but we're getting away from that a little bit. And we do basic criminal background checks unless you're working with children, in which case the state requires more intensive ones. And we just ask that you have a good attitude and you're willing to be patient and engaging with your population. So, as I said, RSVP is sort of two different things. One, we have the in-house programs, and two, we partner with other agencies and help find volunteers for them. So our in-house programs, we have several of them, and they are all focused on education and wellness, as I've already stated. So the first is we have kind of a STEM Plus program, we call it, because it started out originally as just STEM, and we've branched out, and we do career presentations. So we ask our volunteers to be able to do like a short video where they're interviewed and ask questions about how they ended up in their career, sort of what their career path was, and what kind of classes you took, what your interests were in school. And we put that into a video library, divided up by questions and topic and all different ways of searching it, so that any youth, but particularly underserved youths, can then go and sort of see what is out there for them for their future. And those same people, some of them anyway, will go then to career fairs or be judges in a science fair or something like that through RSVP. Our next program is called My Free Tutor, and that is actually a virtual math tutoring program. We tutor kids ages 3rd grade through seniors in high school. And then we also tutor freshmen in college who are first-generation college students. And we have a program through Penn that we help tutors veterans who are returning to civilian life, so that they might be studying for their GED or just brushing up on their basic math to sort of re-enter the civilian workforce. Our family literacy program is actually we have volunteers that go into Head Start. But we also, and so they work with the students. We also offer training though to their programs for the parents about reading, how you read to your kids, the importance of reading. And we provide all of the students in this program 5 books a year where they can take those books then home and read them with their family and sort of pass them on to encourage family literacy. We also just published a book that we've given to all of our students. We have a mascot for our family literacy called Lucky the dog, who I believe is a Dalmatian, and we published a book about Lucky. So all of our students are getting that as well. Our digital literacy program is something that was created during COVID, realizing that so many adults don't have the basic computer skills that they needed in order to engage sort of with their community at the time. So it started off as a kind of multifaceted. So first we offer one-on-one sessions. We have volunteers that give the one-on-one sessions with seniors to help them learn how to use their cell phone, their tablet, their computers, and as basic as, first of all, we start on the phone. So it's how do you turn on your computer? How do you shop online? What is, security? What kind of security measures do you need to take? How do you use Zoom? Kind of all the basics, but that allow seniors to engage with their community. We also offer the same digital literacy to groups of people, and we've used that. We realized that there are certain populations that didn't have computers at home or internet access, and this sort of happened when the kids were at home for school and now had to do the remote learning. And all of a sudden there was like this huge light bulb. All of these people are out there who don't have that connection. And so we've been able to work with the parents and the schools and so on to get these kids some computers and teach them, and more importantly, on some level, the parents about digital literacy so that the kids could do school remotely. We also have an education program for kindergarten through 5th grade, I believe, for reading, where we call it America Reads, and the volunteers go into the classrooms all over the school districts, all over Montgomery, Chester, Delaware, and Philadelphia County. They go into the reading classes and they sort of act as a reading aid to the teacher. And those volunteers give about an hour a week and do whatever the teacher needs to help in terms of their reading. We also have some people that then do that, go into libraries, setting up, like in West Philadelphia, there's libraries that are being set up because the schools no longer have libraries. And so they're trying to help in that realm. Our other very interesting program, I think, is PA Medi. This is a program that the state has, and every county has their own PA Medi organization, agency. An RSVP acts as that agent for Montgomery County. And what it is it's some very, very dedicated volunteers who learn all of the ins and outs of Medicare. And when it comes time for people to sign up for Medicare, they can go to these volunteers and get advice, information about all the available programs. The one caveat that we have is our volunteers are not allowed to ever be an insurance agent or be associated with an insurance agency, because the idea is that it's completely, there's no conflict in terms of this information. And so it's just purely information that they provide. But these volunteers are unbelievable because learning the ins and outs of Medicare, every year they need to relearn it. And it's just a lot of information. Another organization that I've never even heard of before I started here, that never heard of the idea, is Volunteer Executive Consultants. And this is a group formed up of volunteers, mostly who are retired former executives who give their time to other nonprofits, and they help with projects for each nonprofit, whether it be how do you form a 501c3, how do you strategize in terms of marketing, how do you create a board, how do you fundraise, all of these kind of things, strategic thinking. Nonprofits can go to what we call VEC and sign up and get a group that will help them through whatever their problem is. And it's just a really great organization. Again, these people give just a ton of their time and have a incredible breadth of knowledge. And then we have our volunteer services program, and this is really the volunteers who work outside of RSVP. So these are our community partners that we have. RSVP partners with over 150 agencies in the Philadelphia area, and we provide volunteers to food pantries, to community gardens, to other kinds of education, mentorship. So as you see, we have like Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the Holocaust Museum, a couple other museums. We do adult literacy where it's English as a second language or GED training, tutoring for that. We do a lot of aging in place programs. We partner with agencies that provide rides to doctor's appointments, to grocery shopping, or just phone calls, that people need phone calls, just to people to check in and kind of be their friend, make sure that they're doing okay. As I said, we do a lot of food pantries, and Meals on Wheels, that kind of thing. We have just a whole breadth of every kind of possible thing you can do, except for we don't do animals. That's the only thing kind of volunteering that we don't do, really, as long as it's related to education and wellness. So then the question is, how can you in the community help? And obviously volunteering. We're always looking for new volunteers, whether it's a half an hour a week being a math tutor or a reading tutor, or many hours a week being a PA Medi volunteer. We also are always looking for partner agencies, so that agencies that we can work with to help them find volunteers. We will do the recruiting and sign people up for you. And then thirdly, we're always looking for sponsors on all different levels, whether it's a small contribution, getting a foursome to our annual golf outing, or being a more significant annual sponsor. And so that's all. So thank you so much. And this is the QR code. If you want to, it will take you directly to our website. So that's it.
Perfect. Thanks so
So-
much, Janet. So
All
I'm just
right.
going to go ahead. If anybody has questions for Janet, please use the hand raise option, just so we're not talking over each other. And I will call on each of you. Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, so when it comes to raising funds, those type of things, is that primarily donations, or how do you guys create that?
We do obviously a lot of through sponsorships and just general fundraising, but we also do a lot of grant writing. So a lot of the money comes from the RSVP, like Senior Corps, or through the various counties that we work with as well.
I
I
just
got
have a
another
question.
question.
Go ahead, Doug.
So yeah, so I mean, when it comes to, you're talking about tutoring, people that are able to help, older individuals with Medicare. Cause I
Yes.
know that's a mess. My parents are getting up there and it's like, there's just so much to learn. How do you guys find people to educate the people that need to learn about that? Are they just reaching out to you and volunteering, so they want to help, or do you guys have a program that kind of sets that up?
Well, so in terms of recruiting the volunteers, we have a lot of recruiting events. We also like have links through volunteer.com and various other places like that. So that people can find us that way. And then once somebody expresses interest or, word of mouth, all that kind of stuff, they then go through extensive training in order to be able to be a volunteer for that.
All right.
Thanks, Janet. Bev.
Sure, just a testimonial for RSVP. So, as a nonprofit founder and executive director, I didn't even know how to incorporate my nonprofit 6 years ago. And I would probably still be sitting at my kitchen table trying to figure that out if it wasn't for vet consultants.
Good.
5 different vet consultants over the past 6 years have helped us with incorporating the nonprofit, doing strategic planning, and then 3 years later, redoing our 3-year strategic plan. Just the past couple of weeks, we finished that, helping with business planning, strategic marketing. We would never, ever be where we are without VEC, and we would never have been able to afford that kind of consultation as a tiny, hyper-local nonprofit without these consultants who give up their time and expertise in a pro bono way for us. It's almost too good to be true, but it's true. And we are the recipients of it. So I just can't say enough about RSVP and VEC. We're just so grateful for that program that you have, because it gives capacity to nonprofits that otherwise just wouldn't be able to have that kind of support.
Oh, that's so good. Can I ask what your nonprofit is?
Sure, we're called Integrate for Good, and we're all about disability inclusion.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Bev. Appreciate that. Great
We're
to see you.
big fans of RSVP.
Anybody else have a question for Janet or comment?
Oh, excuse me. Do you guys have sister organizations in other states or other areas, or are you guys kind of like a one?
We're there are if you were to Google it, you would find RSVPs all over the country, but they're not affiliated with us in any way. But they just get their funding through the same RSVP, some of their funding anyway, through the same RSVP government program.
Cool.
Hey Chris, this is Walt. I can't see, I'm on my phone and I don't see my hand up thing.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
But yeah, I just was curious. Through the course of the presentation, it's you help find volunteers for other organizations who are in need. Did I understand that?
Yes.
Yeah, because I help run an organization or a group that goes down to Kensington a couple times a month, and one of my biggest challenges is finding people that are willing to drive down there. So it's like, so if they need more people than one car can handle, that kind of thing. But yes, I'd be interested in finding more about that, just so we have another resource to get people down there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get in touch with me afterwards, and I'll be happy to help you with that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Walt. Any other additional questions for Janet?
Hey, Janet, I got a question for you. How are you guys funded, or how do you make your money? Are you just funded through your RSVP grant foundation, or are the nonprofits, paying you a fee for your service? Because that's some, valuable service that you're providing there with the providing volunteers, you're providing insurance. Like, who's paying for all that?
It's through grants and through corporate sponsorships and individual donations.
Well, that's
So
awesome.
like the VEC that we were talking about, the volunteer executive consultants, that's free. That's a free service.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That's really cool.
Janet, I didn't get a chance to check. Are the events up on your website? I know you said you have a golf outing and any other events that you guys are having.
I believe that they are. If they're not, the golf outing will be in July. So the dates might not officially be up yet. I'm not sure if that link is totally working yet, but it'll be definitely shortly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can jump in on that. I'm RSVP's public relations manager. So that's kind of my job with those links. But we are still waiting to have the final registration link set up, but that should be set up within the next week or two. But it is in July, and we have a few sponsorship packages. Some of them do include a foursome in it. Others are just a whole sponsor, you know, something to have your logo presented at the event. So if you go on our website, right now on our events page, you can see a little bit about the past, the last golf classic that we had. And then if you check in probably next week or 2 weeks, you'll see more information about what we're doing this year. But you can always reach out to our sponsor relationship manager right now. Her name is Maria. Her information is on our website, and she can get in contact with you about that.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Sarah. Thanks for jumping in there. And both for, and I'm gonna still send this out anyway, but Janet or Sarah, if you want to throw, I know you put the put it up before, but if you can just throw that in the chat as well, the website and information as well. Anything else before we move on?
Where's the golf adding at this year?
Rivercrest, I believe.
Yep, in
Oh.
Phoenixville.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes, it's close. It's close to you, Doug.
You got it.
Perfect. All right. Well, first, well, I just want to thank you, Janet. Excellent job. Really great presentation. Thanks for all that you and RSVP do for the community. And it looks as though even you guys might even do more than you were doing a few years ago when I was connected with you. So excellent. Thanks so much.